Om. Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhav, chapter 7 and verse number, I think, on 30th. So here what we were talking about is, can birth and death exist together? Then ignorance can exist. Can light and darkness exist together? Then ignorance is. So it is our observation that where there is light, there is no darkness. Where there is darkness, there is no light. And ignorance is, and there the teacher is saying that if both of these can at one place in one moment exist together, then ignorance has validity because they are expressions of ignorance. In this manner, heat and cold, can they exist together? Day and night, can they exist together? Life and death, can they exist together? Huh? Can the dream and waking state, can they exist together? And if Atma is the source of light, how can ignorance, which is darkness, how can it exist? How can we give it validity? This thought is now concluded. I think we are in this verse, correct, Suraj? 30th verse?
Yes, Swamiji.
This is now concluded. Aho atme nize badhe, techi atme nasi nade, aisi kayasi viruddhe, bolani yethe. Oh, my dear one, why make such a contradictory statement that the ignorance which is destroyed by the self-knowledge is present in the self? So this wrong conclusion that we are going around with, that ignorance is because of the self, that without the self ignorance cannot express. This is a wrong conclusion. Hey Maharaj, how can that which is negated in the knowledge of the pure self exist in the Atman, the pure self? Avidya is destroyed in the presence of the Atma Tattva. That is, the moment one comes to discover one's own essential nature, so the moment one comes to be the immaculate self, the pristine self, the all-pervading self, the light of all lights, that the self is, where is the validity of the darkness or the ignorance? Because self is of the nature of knowledge. So where there is knowledge, how can the agyan be there? It is not possible. Avidya is destroyed in the presence of the Atma Tattva, that is, The moment one comes to discover one's own essential nature, such being the case, why make such meaningless statements which are only self cancelling? Atma cannot be the substratum of ignorance, not because it cannot, but because ignorance does not exist. There is all possibility in Atma to be Atma, because Atma is everything. Wave is existing in its own absence, only water is. Ornament is existing in its own absence, only gold is. Pot is existing in its own absence, only mud is. All names and forms are existing in their own absence because only the truth is. And what is these names and form? These names and forms is the ignorance. If you can digest it, if you can swallow it, good. Otherwise, go from scripture to scripture, thinking you have understood. Name and form is phenomenal. Phenomena means that which exists in its own absence. But we have given name and form a reality, and we have given the substratum, the pure consciousness, the Atma, a status of, I don't know if I am Atma. We say that way, isn't it? I have to know myself. I have to do something to know myself. I have to meditate on myself. I have to allow the self to reveal, the divinity to reveal. All this is the language of an ignorant. But we have taken that to be, I am intellectual, I am spiritual, I am giving lecture, I am attending satsangs, I am on the journey. In self, there is no journey. In self, there is no world. From self point of view, only self is. Then where is the world? World is phenomena. Where is phenomena? Existing in its own absence. Sort it out in yourself. And the only sorting that is required is discrimination between the real and the unreal, constant and the changing. Be the constant one. Changing will go away. It will dissolve away. Because it's not there in the first place. But we are living opposite way. We are saying, oh, I don't know if I am Atma. I don't know when I will come to know Atma. In this lifetime or next lifetime. Arey, बेवकूफ है क्या? You are already that. It is your obsession with the changing phenomena which is stopping you from being the Atmic Tattva. You are not available to yourself. You are available only to the phenomena. Now, whose fault is it? No, but I was born like this. You chose to be born that way. See? Now that you are here, now you recognize who you are. You recognize who you are. For that, you have to wean away from the names and forms. You have to wean away from the phenomena of waking, dream, deep sleep. You have to disentangle from past, present, future. You have to transcend the Panchakoshas. And how do you do that? If you are thinking of the Panchakoshas, if you are thinking of past, present, future, if you are thinking of waking, dream, deep sleep, you are never going to go beyond it. Because they'll keep you in the loop. You have to contemplate on that. You have to accept that this loop is of the phenomena. And the one who knows the phenomena, you are. But we give the phenomena a status of reality, and the substratum of the phenomena a status of, I don't know if I am the self. This is suicide. Every moment you are committing suicide. But it is not easy to drop this dependence on ignorance for those who live in the realm of ignorance. That is all of us who live in the realm of ignorance, equal to those who are living in the realm of phenomena, coming and going in the cyclical loop. It is very difficult to give up come out of the loop. It is with the support of ignorance that they justify the value that the value they give to the plurality, karma kanda, etc. So based on giving ignorance the validity, giving the phenomenal existence a status of reality or validity, then they justify. Don't we have to do something to realize? Don't we have a responsibility towards the world? Don't we have environmental responsibility? Don't we have family responsibility? Don't we have our duties? And for that, then they go into doing the karma kand. Then they go into subtler than karma kand. Karma kand will be puja, archa, patram pushpam phalam toyam. Oh, but that was told in the Bhagavad Gita, so Bhagavad Gita is telling lies. But that was told in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 12. There are 6 more chapters after that. Who is going to study that? Karma also was told in the beginning of the chapter, 2nd chapter. You're going to take the ABCD as the truth. That was only to make you recognize this is where you are, and these are the various challenges that will appear in front of you in the 18 chapters, and you have to transcend all of them. And you cannot go straight away to the 18th chapter. Those who have given the validity to the phenomenal world, very difficult to go straight to the 18th chapter without processing yourself and understanding every aspect of the other 16 chapters, 17 chapters. See? But if because of the samskaras or your disposition, if you can be the self at this very moment, then everything is over. Then there is no question of processing anything. Processing is only in the phenomena. The journey is only in the phenomena. Realization is only for the one who believes that he is a phenomena, meaning he is a body. There is nothing called realization, because you are already that which you are seeking. The realization for a wave is water. It is already water. Realization for an ornament is gold. It is already gold. So where is the journey? What we have to correct is our obsession with the phenomena. But it is not easy to drop this dependence on ignorance for those who live in the realm of ignorance. Here I am again and again using the word phenomena for ignorance. That which exists in its own absence. Ignorance expresses as two things: delusion and illusion, forgetfulness of the self, and the this is on one side of the ignorance, and the other side is projection. That projection is of the phenomena. It is with the support of ignorance that they justify the value they give to the plurality, karma kanda, etc. लगे रहो ना उसमें फिर. Then don't come to the scriptural classes. लगे रहो. My child, my grandchild, my husband, my wife, my parents. Be obsessed with that. But you put 70-80% of attention on that and 20-30% on the scripture, then it is a perfect state of confusion, because neither we are here nor we are there. Then it's a mediocre life. Then it's a mediocre life. Amrit Anubhav tries to remove this crippling attitude by destroying the very support of man's misery, namely ignorance. Grasp what Swamiji is telling here. Amrit Anubhav, nectar of immortality, that's the experience of nectar of immortality. Amrit, experience of the nectar. If you want to experience the nectar, there is no even an iota of validity of ignorance is not possible. And where is my, if you want to put it on you, how is ignorance expressing? Manasa vacha kaya, that is its expression. And as long as we are living at manasa vacha kaya level, we are in the loop. Oh my God, you are not allowing us to think also now. Manasa is thinking, vacha is speaking, kaya is doing actions at the body level. Only when we go beyond activity, activity is an expression of ignorance. If you can grasp it, good. If not, contemplate, frustrate. Somewhere it will click. But what are we addicted to? Only activity. Oh, I'm tired of living at home. I have to go out. I have to live a life of balance, inside and outside. I'm not a hermit. I'm a social being. Our discussions I'm talking. See? Amrit Anubhava tries to remove this crippling attitude. What is our attitude? Taking phenomena to be the real and believing, accepting, being convinced that Atma is a far-fetched idea which one day we will realize. And what are scriptures again and again saying? Baba, you are the Atma, Tattvamasi, you are that. And what do you say? Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I am that. But then what do I have to do? Again back into the loop. See, again, what I have to do? I have to do means you have taken accepted again yourself to be the phenomena, the body, breath, mind, intellect. All doing is possible here only in this equipment, but you are not the equipment. Oh, but they say the Atma is all pervasive. Is it not pervading the body, breath, mind, intellect also? And they think they have asked a very wise question. That Atma is all pervasive. Now I have got the teacher in a fix. How will he answer this question? That Atma is everywhere. There's no place that Atma is not. So is it not in the body? Then what's wrong if I say body is Atma? Then you are a Charvaka. Just as from gold's point of view, there are no ornaments. From water's point of view, there is no ocean or wave. From space point of view, there is no air, fire, water, earth, world, planets, universe. Space is the entire objectivity, the entire mass in the total space. Put all the galaxies together. It's only a tiny dot in the entire space. Not even 0.000000001% of the total space. In other words, it's insignificant. And what have we given significance to? To that insignificant matter, we have given validity, and space, which is all pervasive, we have given no validity. We have taken it for granted. Same, more pervasive than space is this Atma. See, this is our convoluted thinking. And we think we are wise. We think we are intelligent. So, to the continuing insistence by the ignorant that ignorance is, Sant Jnaneshwara responds first by arguing in their favor and then by refuting that argument. This is what the wise men do. First, come down to your level and then show you how your thinking is not healthy. First, they will come down to the phenomenal level and then show that the phenomena is not there and bring your attention to the absolute. So, what are we doing right now? There is a discourse going on, there is an interaction going on. Where is this interaction going on? Speaking and hearing in the phenomena. So, it's a phenomenal interaction, meaning this interaction is an expression of ignorance. Simple. I am speaking about that which cannot be understood, and you are understanding that which cannot be. No, I am speaking about that which cannot be spoken of, and you are understanding that which can never be understood. The phenomena is going on. You are nodding away, and I am also inspiredly speaking away. But through this interaction, what is happening? Is our attention coming to the pristine self? Through this interaction, are we able to withdraw our attention from the changing and not fix it on the constant? Instead, be the constant one. Are we able to do that? I will withdraw that statement. Are you able to do that? Are you able to be that? In spite of the phenomena, are you able to be the constant principle? You know somewhere inside of you that you are always. Yesterday also you were, day before yesterday also you were, now also you are, tomorrow also you will be. You know you are the continuous thread in which every day waker, dreamer, sleeper come and go. They are strung in the end. Sutre Maniganaiva. The whole universe is strung in the divine. Have you taken God is like that. What about you? You are continuous from child till here. Every day, the waking dream, deep sleep, waking dream, deep sleep, they come and they are hanging away. Past, present, future. Everything is coming and going in your life. And you can talk about what is coming and going. Are you coming and going? Do you feel that you are coming and going? As a body, yes, body pain is coming, pain is going. Vision is coming, vision is going. Hearing is happening, hearing is not happening. Breath is coming, breath is going. Thoughts are coming, thoughts are going. When you say coming and going, you are always in reference to something with which you have identified or created association with. You are talking about something which is coming and going. But if you are able to put that aside, all the reference points, are you coming and going? No. There you are. This is the attempt by the teachers. Come into the phenomena and from the phenomena, disqualify the phenomena. Now we go into the 31st verse, 31st OV. He says, Aho andhar panichi paiza, सांडूनी अंधार तेज झाला तै सहज सूर्य निभ्रांतची. If it is argued that the darkness has given up its darkness and thus naturally became sun, I am going to give up my body and come to be the infinite reality. I am going to give up my body. I am going to give up my individuality. I am going to surrender. These are all statements in the ignorance made by the ignorant person. Ignorance is equal to darkness. Here the example is taken. If darkness was to say that I will give up my darkness and be the light, is it possible? Logically, is it possible that darkness gives up darkness and becomes light? Oh, but they say, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. They don't say darkness is becoming light. There is no becoming. Just as darkness cannot give up darkness because that is its nature. How can darkness give up its nature? How can eyes, whose nature is vision, give up the vision and say, no, I want to transform, I want to become a hearer? It cannot be possible. Same way, darkness, whose nature is darkness, how can it give up its own nature and be something else that is light? So here we are talking about ego wanting to give up the ego and be the infinite I. Ego is also I. See, how do you give up ego? As long as you're thinking of ego, as long as you're thinking of doing something, you can never give up ego. Ego expresses as what? Karta and bhokta, doer and enjoyer. So you have to do something so that you can enjoy being the infinite I. लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई. It's never going to conclude unless and until we don't, while this dialogue is going on, we don't, while this dialogue is going on, we be the self, we be the eternal witness, we be the constant principle. Not want to become one with the constant principle. No, you are the constant principle. Under the spell of ignorance, you have taken the changing to be the self. You have taken the body to be the self, the breath to be the self, the mind to be the self, the concepts and ideas and birth and death to be the self. And who are you? You are none of these. Accept it. Majority people are afraid of giving up everything that they have associated with throughout their life. Not only their body, breath, mind, intellect, but also everything that is connected to this body, breath, mind, intellect. With the body, my children, my parents. With the breath, hunger and thirst. With the mind, memories. With the intellect, conviction that I am an individual, I am a man, I am a woman, that I am a seeker. The Ajnanavadi are so much influenced by the concept of ignorance that they keep reverting to the same theme and cite various types of reasoning to support their thesis that ignorance does exist. This and the following two OVs present these arguments. Modern scientists today nowadays you are seeing in the TV there that the telescope has discovered some galaxies so far away when the two galaxies were colliding with each other and all that light they are showing nowadays. This is exploration into what? Exploration into matter. What is the subtlest matter? Space. They don't want to come. They are exploring matter, and there's no final answer in matter because matter is cyclical, manifestation and unmanifestation. On one hand, the universe is expanding, and the scientists themselves say that continuously the whole universe is dissolving also. It is getting so many galaxies, and they don't even know how many black holes are there which are sucking away galaxies at such a huge rate. But at the same rate, new galaxies are getting formed. So how are you going to find the constant principle here? Not possible, because your attention is on the name and form. Your attention is not on the essence. And if you are looking for the essence out there in the world, very difficult. Essence is subjective. Once you be the essence, then you will realize this essence alone is everything, is one without a second. Then you don't need to sort out the world to find out the essence. Oh, I know I am the essence, I am the pure self. Now I have to work out with the world how this self is in the world also. You don't have to do that. It's spontaneous, instantaneous, simultaneous realization, revelation. No process is required. No process is required. Just as going to sleep, no process is required if you have really lived your life day. And waking up also, no process is required. Katak, your eyes open, you know you are awake. So this pravritti, nivritti, expansion and collapsation. Pravritti is expansion, nivritti is withdrawal or collapsing. This is the nature. This is how ignorance is expressing. This is what the phenomena is. And scientists are exploring that. And as a seeker, when your attention is on this expansion and contraction of the thought, of the mind, of the breath, of the body, of the world, you are losing the plot. You can never stop it because you didn't create it. Phenomena is what? That which exists in its own absence. It just comes about. For whom? For the individual. Once you be the Atma, the constant self, then phenomena has got no sway over you. People will say that, oh, see, he is a Mahatma. Who is a Mahatma? Who has transcended the phenomena. From his vision, there is nothing called phenomena. What is the vision of a realized master? Even scriptures cannot talk about it. Because we see him as a human being like us. And then we start thinking, oh, Mahatma is also going to die one day. He was also born one day. He also has a father, mother, this, that. And we want to pull him down into the experience that we are having about our body, about ourselves. Just like we have pulled the infinite reality into a form called various gods because we are obsessed with form. And then we feel we are great devotees. But what about Bhagwan said that you ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate? What about those verses and such other verses in Bhagavad Gita where Bhagwan says, Ishvara says, Ishvara is he who knows his Parabrahma Paramatma. He is not under the influence of Prakriti. But as this teacher is saying here in the previous verse, Sambandha Bhashya, that the teacher is coming to the phenomenal existence. What did he say here? That first by arguing in their favor and then by refuting that argument. Coming down to the level of the phenomenal existence and then removing the phenomena, going beyond the phenomena. Being transcendental to the phenomena. Coming in the phenomena, we are having this discourse, but what is the discourse about? Again and again we are emphasizing, be the self in spite of hearing and talking. You will transcend, you will recognize, you will discover that you are the constant one. Suppose we say that the darkness has left its darkness and therefore it is manifesting as sun. धुला कूडपणा सांडिले आणि आगीपणे मांडिले तैची आगी झाले इंधन की. Or the wood had discarded its woodness and started expressing as fire. The wood is nothing but fire. That the wood discards its woodness and therefore exists in the fire as fire. We'll talk about these examples. Then third one, का गंगा पावत विखेवो आनपणाचा ठावो सांडितय गंगा हो लाहे पाणी. Or the waters that meet Ganga do retain their separate identity as waters but become Ganges. A river may be called by some name or the other before it joins the Ganga, but after merging with the Ganga, it is called Ganga water only. Just as Alaknanda begins from Badrinath, Mandakini begins from Kedarnath, and Gangaji, which is called Bhagirathi, begins at Gomukh. And as Gangaji is coming down, first the Alaknanda meets Gangaji. Now Alaknanda loses its identity and it is now known only as Gangaji. Then Mandakini, which is coming from Kedarnath, at the Rudraprayag it meets Gangaji and loses its identity and color and form and merges into Gangaji. Now it is no longer having its own identity. Now it is again called Gangaji. So Gangaji was before, and whoever is coming and meeting Gangaji becomes Gangaji, is called as Gangaji by people. So what are you meeting? Are you meeting the phenomenal world or are you meeting yourself? Question is this. Who are you meeting every moment? At this very moment, are you meeting the words that are coming to you? Or yes, the words are coming, but it is bringing you back to being yourself. So yes, somewhere in the periphery the words are coming and and every word will have a meaning. It is coming to you, and in that, with that meaning, you lose yourself in yourself, meaning the mind loses itself in its source. Is that happening? Are we able to transcend the phenomena while being in the phenomena at this moment?
Yes, Swamiji.
See? Are we able to transcend the phenomena while being in the phenomena? Or are we forgetting the transcendental principle, the self, the Atman, and only being the phenomena? What is our disposition? It's very simple. No elaborate sadhana needs to be done. This is Vivek. If you try to sort out the changing, you will never be able to sort out completely because it's continuously changing. If you try to catch the river, you can never catch the river because the waters of the river are continuously changing. This is what we are trying to do with our life. Maintain the memories, maintain the health, maintain the youthfulness, maintain the hunger, satiate the hunger, have the perfect temperature in the house with the correct temperature in the thermostat. Ooh, it's cold, it's hot. Continuously reacting. Have you ever been able to maintain anything in this phenomena from childhood till today? If you have been able to, good luck, continue. Assess. This is the assessment that we have to do in our life. Not how much money I need for securing my future life, how nice, wonderful, sattvic, dutiful children I have given birth to. How many dan dakshina we have done, how many people we have fed, how many people we have helped. All this is not going to help you anywhere in this path. It is only going to enhance your ego. And you have to transcend, or you have to dissolve the ego. Thinking of the phenomena only at the most can make the ego move from tamasic ego to rajasic ego, rajasic ego to sattvic ego. That's the maximum, but it's still in the loop of ignorance. It's in the loop of the phenomena. What we are talking about here is going beyond the phenomena, in spite of the phenomena. That has to happen here and now. It cannot happen in the future. It cannot happen in the past. It requires extreme alertness and vigilance. That I am that. Not I am that phenomena. नहीं तो I am that बोल दिया तो that means phenomena. Not I am that phenomena. I am that infinite reality, the constant principle, the unchanging one, the infinite one, the immaculate one. The self-effulgent one, the pure one. No, but I have done so many sins in my life. I have got so many. Drop it. It's only phenomena. I have got no meaning. You are the self-effulgent. You are the sinless one by nature. The opponent's argument is concluded on the basis of the above examples. Tai se ajnana he no he, tari atma asike asola he, ervi ajnana ho he, lagalechi. Similarly, the ignorance does not exist separately from knowledge self, but the fact is it exists certainly. So the student is saying, or the teacher is taking his stand, just as we just said, that phenomena is, and in spite of phenomena, you be the self. Because we haven't yet weaned away from the phenomena. So he is giving validity. So he says, in the same way, the ignorance may not exist in the Atma as ignorance, because like an ordinary river having a separate name becomes only Ganga water after joining the Ganga river. Ignorance, after merging with the Atma, discards its separateness and becomes one with the Atma. Therefore, ignorance exists. Here we'll take ignorance as the individuality. The individuality thinking about the reality discards or dissolves the individuality and merges with the infinity or the reality. So the fact that I was, or other people tell this person was, oh, we have seen him from childhood, oh, he used to play with us, oh, he used to eat with us, now he is a Mahatma. So before he was an individual, now he is a Mahatma. In your eyes, right now, you are an individual. And then in meditation, you feel that you have been one with the self. For many people, this is the shunting that is going on in meditation. Go into meditation, very good meditation. Come out again, again the world. And when this goes on, this shunting of meditation and coming out of meditation and finding the world to be there, we come to this conclusion that, in deep meditation, my ego was completely dissolved. I was in deep meditation. I was in bliss. That you are in sleep also. There's no, the way you know yourself right now, you don't know yourself in deep sleep. Does it mean that you are realized? When you wake up, no, you only become refreshed and wake up. You don't get realized and wake up. But here what the student is saying is, if I was an individual and I am going to realize myself, which means the individuality, which is an expression of ignorance, was there, therefore only the realization was possible. You see the argument. Individuality was there, finitude was there, attachment was there, identification of the Atma with the Panchakoshas was there. Therefore, transcending the Panchakoshas of this identified self is possible. So the self before, under the spell of ignorance, was identified with the Panchakoshas. Now it has transcended the Panchakoshas and come to be disidentified from the expression of ignorance. So which means ignorance is there. And I overcame ignorance. Sounds so valid, no? Arjuna also gave such argument only. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he quoted the scriptures only, but in the wrong place at the wrong time. That is it right to kill a teacher? Is it right to kill your grandfather? Is it right to kill your cousins? Is it right to make all the women brotherless, husbandless, fatherless? Will that not lead to imbalance in the society? By killing my teachers and all these people, will I not go to hell? All right arguments, but at the wrong place, at the wrong time. What was the place? Battlefield. What is the job on the battle? Who is there on the battlefield? Only the enemy. And suddenly this unfounded compassion. Why should I kill? Life is not about killing. I don't want to go to hell. The student here is also giving the argument. Right now I'm ignorant. One day I will realize. Who realized? The ignorant I. Realized what? That I am the infinite I. So that means before I was ignorant, wasn't I? Does a realized master make this argument? No, only an ignorant fellow will make this argument. Because the ignorant fellow has not known the self, therefore he keeps talking about it. Therefore he keeps talking about the ignorance. Therefore he keeps talking about the journey. What is the journey of a wave to water? What is the journey of an ornament to gold? Same amount of journey you have to perform or not perform. You are in essence the reality. You have always been the reality. There has never been a moment that you are not the reality. But this student here, his attention is not on being the reality, his attention is on validating the ignorance and expressions of ignorance, meaning the phenomenal existence, meaning his ego, which has come about as a result. Where are we? Therefore, in the same way, the ignorance may not exist in the Atma as ignorance, because like an ordinary river having a separate name becomes only Ganga water after joining the Ganga river, ignorance after merging with the Atma discards its separateness and becomes one with the Atman. Therefore, ignorance exists. Therefore, here it is told that he is taking the standpoint of duality. He says, I am an ignorant one and I am verged into the infinite one. I am the phenomenal one and I will merge into the absolute one. I am the impure one and one day I will merge into the pure one. I have an independent identity. You have an independent identity. Everything in the world has independent identity. And one day, a table, chair, laptop, phone, they cannot merge into the infinite one, a conscious one. I am a conscious one. I have an independent identity, which is called individuality. And one day, I will merge into the infinity, which is the Lord or the Atma or the Paramatma, whichever way you put it. Right now, I don't feel that I am the Atma. I don't feel I am God. I don't feel I am one with the absolute reality. I feel I am an individual. And one day it will happen. So till it has not happened, I am ignorant. Again, validity to ignorance, validity to phenomena. If you are not confused by all this and understanding where it is taking us, it says one of the theories in Vedanta Shastra about ignorance is that which does not stand to inquiry. That which does not stand to inquiry. Another view about ignorance is karyanumeya, that which cannot be known only from the effect it produces, that which can be known only from the effect it produces. So nobody has seen ignorance, nobody has seen darkness. Absence of light is darkness. Nobody has seen nothingness. We use the word darkness, we use the word absence, we use the word nothingness, but nobody has seen any object called absence. Nobody has seen an object called nothingness. Then what is that nothing? No thing is equal to nothing. Where there is no presence, there is absence. Where there is no light, there is darkness. Absence of light is darkness. Absence of a thing is called nothing. But nothing and absence or void are not objects of cognition. They are not objects of cognition. They have got no form. So, that which does not stand to inquiry, first part. What can you, when we say we are an individual, you say, who is an individual? Atma identified with matter is individuality. Here we are talking about that which does not stand to inquiry. Now let's see if identification is possible also or not. Forget about identification of Atma with matter. Let's do simple things. Are eyes identified with what they see? Are ears identified with the words that they hear? Is the nose identified with the breath that it is that is coming in and out? If it was identified, if it breathed in, it will never breathe out. Or if it breathed out, it will never breathe in. But that is not our experience. Eyes are continuously illuminating the various forms. Ears are continuously illuminating the different sounds. Nose is continuously illuminating the various smells. So, all the five senses are not identified with any stimuli that they are illuminating. First place. Let's come back. Well, let's come out. Is the body identified with child body or teenage body or the youth body, or has it been identified with that? Body is continuously changing. Who is identified? There is no one there. It's only a memory. मैं तो अभी जवान हूँ. But body is not identified with age. Senses are not identified with the stimuli. And at body level, even heat, cold, whatever, nothing it is. Hunger, I am hungry. Is it identified with hunger? No. Then you feel satiate the hunger, then hunger goes away. Body is not even identified with comfort or discomfort. For some moment, this is a very nice position, I am comfortable. It cannot sit here continuously in this position, then it will change. So body cannot be, has never identified with anything. Senses have never identified with any stimuli. All those stimuli go in the mind as thoughts. Is the mind identified with any thought? Look at it as a principle. Look at your data. Has the mind ever got identified with any thought? Continuously the thoughts are coming and the thoughts are going, and the thoughts are coming and the thoughts are going. So mind is only a container where the thoughts are coming and going away. The mind is also not identified with thoughts. Are you identified with waker, dreamer, or sleeper? Continuously they are also coming and going away. How can you get identified with body which is continuously changing? How can you identify with breath which is continuously changing? How can you identify with senses and the stimuli which are continuously changing? How can you identify with thoughts which are continuously changing? How can you identify with notions, convictions from childhood till today? Every day your convictions are changing. Your notions of life are changing. So you have never been consistent in any damn thing. Yet you think you are identified with something, with this. So when you inquire like this, you come to this realization that there is no identification possible. Meaning, ego is not possibility. Ego is the ignorance or the effect of ignorance. That brings us to the second point. Only through effects you can come to know the cause. If ignorance is the cause, you come to know the cause called ignorance because we have never seen darkness. We know darkness is absence of light. But what is darkness? We don't know. I don't know. That is ignorance. So through effects, what are the effects? I am a father, I am a mother, I am a teacher, I am a seeker, I am a so many years old, I am hungry, I am thirsty, etc., etc., etc. Who is this fellow? Oh, I. And you accept. Where identification is not possible, you have accepted yourself to be the ignorant I and living this imaginary life of individuality. And accepting the trials, the tribulations, that I am a seeker, that I am caught up and that I have to get out and I have to, I have a identity. I am not a doormat and I am not this or I am not that. So many things. And who are you as an individual? Who are you as an individual? As an individual, I'm saying, as an individual, existing in your own absence. Then what is this feeling that I am there? That feeling is the feeling of being the continuous self, which is being superimposed on the Panchakoshas and giving them the validity and continuity, which is not possible. One of the theories in Vedanta Shastra about ignorance is that which does not stand to inquiry. The moment you start inquiring into this I that you are, you will find there is no I only. Realization is I without a thought. Now it's a language of communication. I without a thought. Now try to think of I without a thought. You cannot think because thinking itself requires a thought. So what is absolute self? I without a thought. What is Atma? I without a thought. What is mind? A play between I thought and that thought. Dissolve by choosing the right goal, by being attentive to the ephemerality of the body, breath, mind, intellect. Be the constant one. Another viewpoint about ignorance is karyanumaya, that which can be known only from the effect it produces. Just as ocean is the cause, waves are the effect. Have you seen the ocean? No. Have you seen the wave? Yes, I can see the wave. How many waves? Many waves. Where are they existing? Oh, must be that total body is called the ocean. Oh, there are many oceans. Where are they existing? Where are the oceans existing? In the water. Where is the earth existing? Where are the four elements existing? The earth, the water, the fire, the air. Where are they existing? In space. From space point of view, are there four elements? No. From water's point of view, are there waves and oceans? No. From gold point of view, are there any ornaments? No. From absolute self point of view, is there phenomena? Is there the phenomenal universe? No. If at all you want to take it, in the Bhakti Shastra, we take it to the Ishvara. Ishvara is the Upadan and the Nimitta Karan. He is the creator and he is the material of the whole universe. It's a language of communication. So if the whole material of the universe is Ishvara, is the divine, and the creator of the whole universe is divine, then what is this universe called? It is called a play of the divine. Divine playing with divine. Where's the question of individuality then? Where's the question of multiplicity then? Divine playing with divine. He is the Upadan and Nimitta Karan. Take that position, again everything will be resolved in one go. This effect is stated to be of three types depending upon the three gunas. Hence, Maya is stated to be Trigunatmika. The argument which holds that even though ignorance is not present in the Atma, it did exist before the enquiry and therefore ignorance exists. This thought is denied here. So before realization, ignorance was there. After realization, ignorance is not there. Who is making this statement? This stupid, ignorant self is making that statement. Realized master doesn't make that statement. So these last 3-4 verses are the arguments. The teacher is taking the standpoint of the student and trying to think, if you are thinking in this way. And this is sometimes where we get caught up. And we think we have sorted it out. I am intelligent. The argument which holds that even though ignorance is not present in the Atma, I accept it, that in Atma, which is of nature of light, like the sun, in the sun no darkness is there, in the Atma also no darkness is there, no ignorance is there. It did not exist. The ignorance, it did exist before the enquiry. Before I was ignorant, now I come to the scriptures, I have understood it, and one day I will realize it. But I was ignorant, no? Who is wanting realization? The ignorant self. It did exist before the enquiry, and therefore ignorance exists. Here in Amrit Anubhav, in this particular chapter, we are denying the ignorance. Means there is nothing called ignorance. It has Ignorance has never been, ignorance cannot be at now, or nor it will be in the future. When some people, I'm just going away from the topic. We have also said ignorance is equal to Maya, ignorance is equal to incomplete knowledge, ignorance is equal to Prakriti, unmanifest Prakriti. These are different names. Jnaneshwar Maharaj takes incomplete knowledge. But then we get lost. Oh, but Maya, how can there be no Maya? How can there be no Prakriti? You mean to say Ishvara and Prakriti, and there is no Prakriti, only Ishvara is? We are going in our own head, going like a. Without any conclusion, without any clarity. We hear something here, we hear something there, we hear in some other chapter, in some other text, in some other talk, and then while listening, we are applying it. Oh, I don't think this is, I don't know where it is going. How can Ishvara be without Prakriti, without his consort? Don't they say he is Ardhanarishwar? Ishvara is because of Shakti or because of Prakriti. And if another name for Prakriti is ignorance, that means Prakriti is, therefore ignorance is. Lage raho Munna bhai. Lage raho, lage raho. All these they are nothing but stupid arguments. If at all you want to think that way, think from Ishvara's point of view. What is Prakriti or what is Maya? From the first chapter of Amrit Anubhav, what is the Shakti? Another word for Maya is Shakti. What is Shakti? It is Shiva's potentiality. It is Shiva's inherent potentiality. It is inseparable. This language comes when we give validity to cause and effect. This language comes about when we give this world a validity. And we want to seek the cause of this world. But in Amrit Anubhav, we are not going to the cause of the world. Because our goal is not to sort out the world. In Amrit Anubhav, we are coming to be the self, and in that being the self, there is this misconception or this acceptance of ignorance as a valid state. And Jnaneshwar Maharaj takes ignorance as incomplete knowledge. And if you take this language here, he is saying incomplete knowledge can never be possible. Ignorance is never possible. Incomplete knowledge is never possible because you are of the nature of consciousness, and consciousness means all-knowing self. Where is the question of not knowing? Then where is doubt coming? Where is incomplete knowledge coming? Is it happening in the self or is it happening in the mind? Where is incompleteness of knowledge taking place or expressing as? Is can Atma ever have incomplete knowledge? Not possible. Can mind have complete knowledge? Not possible. Because mind can only know one thing, think. And thinking is not continuous, it comes and goes and comes and goes. That which comes and goes can never come to know complete. And that which comes and no goes is only phenomenal. What is phenomenal? That which is existing in its own absence. Just because we are using the words that which exists in its own absence, does it mean that there is something existing? No. That which is not existing continuously, that we have given validity. This body, breath, mind, intellect, world. See how deeply we have fooled ourselves. The effect is stated to be of the three types depending upon the three gunas, hence Maya is stated to be Trigunatmika. The argument which holds that even though ignorance is not present in the Atma, it did exist before the inquiry and therefore ignorance exists. This thought is denied here. The argument is negated in OVs 35 to 40. We'll just look at this 35th verse and then conclude. आत्मेनसी विरोधी मणौनी नुरेची इये संबंधी वेगळे तरी सिद्धी जाईच ना. Because the ignorance is opposed to self, it cannot stay in Atma, nor can it exist independent of it. First discussion. Spirit, we say, who are you? Oh, I am an amalgamation of spirit and matter. You speak like that, no? You are a conscious person also and you are a physical person also. And what is the matter? Body, breath, mind, intellect is the matter. And who is owning this matter? The spirit. So the spirit and matter have got married and this you have come about. Is it possible? Is it possible that two things of opposing nature, can they come together? Can oil and water ever mix together? Spirit is of the nature of infinity. Spirit is of the nature of knowledge, of light. And matter is of the nature of darkness, change, finitude. How can these two, how can light and darkness ever have a relationship? How can they come together? How can they marry? So first standpoint, because self and ignorance, they are both of opposing natures. So therefore, ignorance cannot stay in the Atma. Therefore, darkness cannot stay in the light. Because darkness has a different nature, light has a different nature. And second part, nor can it exist independent of it. Nor can ignorance stay independent of, as an independent. Darkness has got no independent existence. Then what is darkness? Absence of light is darkness. That is what we say, isn't it? So here, don't focus on the Atma here. Here we are talking about if Atma cannot exist in the self, does it exist outside the self? That is the second point. Nor can it exist independent of it. It cannot have an independent existence. Who? Ignorance. There are two thoughts in this OV. Ignorance is opposed to Atma, which is of the nature of knowledge. Therefore, there can be no relationship of mutual existence as the support and the supported. So, there is no dependency, there is no relationship that Atma is the supporter and ignorance is the supported. Just like the subject and object, the aham and the idam vritti, they coexist. Are Atma and Anatma, are they coexisting? No. Second part, nor is it possible for ignorance to exist independent of the Atma or for that matter of anything else because it is an absence. Therefore, how can it be said that ignorance exists? In the self that I am, ignorance is not possible because I am of the nature of light. How do you say that I am of the nature of light? I don't feel I am the nature of light. Can someone tell me? Only I am talking. How you are of the nature of light? Someone tell? The moment I ask this question, it should click. The whole world is illumined by the sun. The sun is illumined, sun and moon, stars and lightning and fire. These are the 5 sources of light. All the sources of light are illumined by the eyes. So which is more powerful? The illuminator or the illumined? Compared from the world point of view, the world is the illumined. These 5 sources of light are the illuminator. Taking these 5, eyes are the illuminator and they are the illumined. Then mind is the illuminator and the eyes are the illumined. Then I is the illuminator and the thought and the mind itself is the illumined. This I, which has discovered that it is the one illuminator, that there is nothing which is able to illuminate it. It is the only one. See? न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम नेमा विद्युतो भांति कुतो यमग्नि तमेव भांतम अनुभाति सर्वम तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति. न तत्र सूर्यो, that self is that. न तत्र सूर्यो. It is taken in the passive sense. The light of the self is that light which cannot be illumined by the sun, the moon, the stars, the fire, the lightning, all the sources of light. So it must be the source of all lights. And where there is light, there is no darkness possible. That was the first point. But we use the word darkness, we use the word ignorance, we use the word absence of knowledge, we use the word incomplete knowledge. what is the status of it? Is the ignorance, if we, this body, this individuality, this ego, this variety, this, if you want to put it into one nutshell, this aham and idam, that is ignorance. Can it exist independently? Where is, put it in another way, I'm putting in all different ways, something will click. Aham and idam, where are they expressing? In the mind. Can mind independently exist of the self? Can the mirage exist independently? Is the mirage on the earth? No. Is the mirage in the light? No. But can the mirage exist without light? No. It is dependent on light. So it does not exist in light, but yet it is existing, but it cannot exist without the light. Then what is the status of mirage? That is the status of this world. That is the status of this ignorance. That is the status of your individuality. That is the status of your mind, which includes the whole universe and your body, breath, mind, intellect. Enjoy the contemplation. पागल हो जाओगे. That is first step towards realization anyway. Jnaneshwar Maharaj, without beating about the bush, he wants to again and again put the mirror in front of us. Hey, you are the infinite self. Never even for once you accept that you are anything less than the infinite, self-illumined, all-knowing, blissful self. Not even for one moment. The moment you give attention to anything other than the self, but while I'm thinking loudly, can you ever give attention to anything else other than the self? Self is always all-knowing, and ignorance is always non-existent. Ignorance is always non-existent, is existing in its own absence. Mirage is always non-existent. You cannot drink the water. You cannot quench your thirst. Sort this out in yourself. You can never drink the world. You can never identify with the world. You can never attach to the world and be complete. Just like you can see the mirage waters, but can never satiate yourself. You can see the world, but you can never be satisfied by it. Impossible. If this bitter truth can be digested, we will come to the correct assessment of what ignorance is, what this whole world is. This is the source of pain and misery. See, realization means two things. Dukkha nivritti, sukha prapti. It's not only Sukha Prapti. It's not only Sukha Prapti. If it is only Sukha Prapti, only Nirvikalpa Samadhi and out, and then the world is again Dukkham. It has to be both. For that purpose, this assessment of ignorance is being taken. So that the misery never even touches us. Well, it is being shown that it has never touched us because we are of the nature of self. Attachment is not possible, identification is not possible, entanglement is not possible, ego is not possible, coming and going is not possible. And what is continuous? Only the self, and that I am. So don't live, we must not live in the fool's world. Fool's world is the ignorant world. But that is also being taken away from us. At least पहले हम मजा तो ले रहे थे ignorance का. My child, my grandchild, my food, my body, my pain, my hunger. अभी वो भी नहीं बोल सकते. तेरी की. We'll look at it from, then what is the status of ignorance? We'll look at the 36th verse in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.